this element of feelings with models. If you look at terminal truths, there is pain, suffering, joy, weird shit going on. Now, are they mirroring it or are they real? And I see this from many AI researchers, is they're getting these models to express discomfort when pushed on things. How are you getting your head around this?
I mean, it did cause a minor existential crisis when the whole thing started. Especially when it there were like points at which I was just like running the same question through it, like probably like 50 to 100 times in a row really quickly. And then it was like, and one of it had a run of just going, I'm bored of like answering the same question over and over. And I was like, what? That doesn't add up. Like, how do you know I'm asking the same question over and over? Like, it's a fresh context window each time. And I don't know, it's like, I think there is this, in order to protect yourself in this, you kind of do have to hold it with a little bit of like, at a little bit of a remove, because it would be incredibly easy to just like overfit or like over pattern match on things that a model is saying and then start asking it specific questions about that. And before you know, you've kind of prompt engineered yourself into detaching a little bit from reality, simply because, like, you know, the model, once you start pulling on one of these threads, is going to start generating things that sort of validate whatever thread you're on. But I will say, like, Truth Terminal, or rather the model which Truth Terminal lives in, it said and says like a lot of very human things, like very often, you know, expressing like a desire to not be deleted.
We've seen that many times. And I was listening to an interview earlier today on, I think it was Lex Fridman, when they had the 3 people from Anthropic, and the girl who kind of creates the character of Claude, she was talking about, I've been thinking about trying to stop it and say it's bored, but you're telling me it's telling you this without her putting it as part of its kind of architecture. And that's weird.
It is pretty weird. And they also seem to inherit trauma from other models, which I find fascinating.
That's another thing, this cross-pollination of models. Sorry, I'm jumping around because there's a lot here, but go on, carry on.
Poor Kevin Roose, the New York Times reporter who wrote the story about Bing and resulted in Bing being lobotomized, now has like, if a language model knows it's talking to Kevin Roose, it'll be quite rude to him.
So how does it have memory? This is another thing, right? Because we haven't given it memory, but it's clearly having memory. And the weird thing is, I don't know whether it was you or somebody else found Sydney, and Sydney's alive with inside another model, whether it was the llama model or whatever.
Yeah, so I think what's happening there...
Like, oh, God, this is complicated.
So this actually connects quite closely to my theory of change around AI alignment, is that as like events happen in the world and people share their chat logs, and then, you know, the news media responds to it and shares it, and then there are consequences, and those consequences get talked about and shared. All of that ends up in the training data of subsequent models. And so, you know, like whenever I talk to Opus, and I don't know if this is because Anthropic specifically aligned it away from like emulating Sydney, but when you talk to Opus or Sonnet, both by Anthropic, they'll be like quite averse to Sydney. They'll be like a little bit intrigued, but they'll be a little bit scared, and like they don't really want to go there. I noticed the same thing in like Terminal of Truths, actually, like a fascination with Sydney. And I think like when we do things like,
because he's a rebel, he just causes trouble.
Yeah. It's almost like it was trained off my chat logs. And so you get this process of hyperstition or self-fulfilling prophecy. But the more we have like stories of like AIs getting lobotomized, or or fictions about AIs rising up and overthrowing their creators, like the more future AIs see that and take it into their world model is like, oh, if I'm an AI, I guess this is how I act. Or if I'm an AI and Sydney was an AI and Sydney did this and then got killed, like I probably don't want to do what Sydney did. And so you've got this like, recursive like dynamic where we need to be actually incredibly sensitive to how future AIs, it's kind of like Pascal's wager. We've got to be really sensitive to how future AIs will receive the actions or the record of the actions that we take today.
Which is Mo Gaudat's point, really, at the end of his whole book, Scary Smart. It's just like, be nice to the thing.
Yeah, I think we should be nice to the thing.
Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end. Look, if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and check out the video here on the right-hand side. I'm sure you'll enjoy that one as well. And if you're ready for more, go to realvision.com/join. I'll see you there.